A very warm welcome to eRacing GP Global Edition Season 6 Round 3. Des Corker alongside Alex Young, the architect of this whole series. We're midway through the Gold Class Edition season so far, Alex Young. And so far, it's the boys from Malaysia, the Azlan brothers, who are absolutely dominating things.
Yeah, I mean, reigning champion Naquib Azlan with his younger brother Nabil just dominating, like you said. Very hard to beat. They got a great relationship. They talk to each other a lot, so they help each other a lot as well. And that's what also the secret of racing, you know. If you got good teammates or you train together well, you can help to raise your level, and that's what both of them have done.
And to make matters even worse for their rivals, there's a third brother who's been in the upper reaches of the category, but it's Nabil and Naquib are the two who to knock off their perch. Just to show you exactly what we mean, we've got some highlights of what happened last week at the Salzburg Ring in Austria, just to show you how good those Azlan brothers are. First race, Naquib Azlan alongside Tasbi. Naquib in the red, cabin Nissan. He needs to get off to a good start. It's a solid start. Oh, but Nabil was caught on the line. Or was it Inigo Anton was caught on the line? But Naquib Azlan has got off to a flying start. And he's taken his brother alongside with him.
And he was challenged as well. There's because Tasbi is actually out of the race, I think, because he didn't even start that one. He was on the line, so Alex is picked for the win there. Unfortunately, has got up in smoke. Tasbi will not be able. Oh, is it? No, because there was a car that stalled. Oh, luckily. Once I got that there was a car that was stalled there, it looked like one of the Nissans as well. Luckily, it's Brody Steen. So everyone is away off the line cleanly.
Everybody else has got away. Naquib and Nabil, a brotherly 1-2. Tasbi in 3. Inigo Anton, the best of the Filipinos in P4, but under pressure from Josh Purwien and Brody Steen. You've just mentioned Muhammad Tasbi. Tasbi's now beginning to make a move on Nabil Azlan. And the Singaporean really comes onto the back wheel. Got very, very close. Had to slam on the brakes. I love this cockpit view because it shows you just how undulating this course is. It's a beautiful circuit, the Brno course.
Oh, absolutely. Nabil's done a lot of favours for him for this particular season. More than makes up for the one where he cost him the championship as he comes across the final corner.
We can never forget it. Naquib Azlan takes the victory. Second win of the season. His brother Nabil holds off Tasbi for P2. Underway. And it's Muhammad Nabil who is in pole position alongside Nurshaz Islam. And Nasri Azlan and Haris Zefi there. Haris Zefi into an early lead, Hazik.
Yep, he has actually made up for the last time I met at Salzburg Ring. He was on reverse grip pole, but bogged it and got tapped around. He's made up for that one. Now he's trying to build on early lead, but behind him is Nabil, and he knows full well that these guys can easily swarm him if they get the opportunity. Oh, let's see if that will be the thing as he comes onto the inside here of Khalif. Does he make the mistake? No, he doesn't. They go side by side in equally colored cars. Number 27. Nissan, and I don't think it's an actual livery when these cars race, but besides the point, we're gonna go up to turn 10 here. Another overtaking spot. It is possible. Thinks onto the inside, thinks about it, and does make it stick. And behind them, that looks like Moreno over the inside of Anton. But when push comes to shove, he might actually just get his elbows out here to actually defend that position. But it's not being shown yet. He might actually do it now here as Nabil gets a better run coming out of turn.
Nabil tries to go around the outside. Haris again just says, if you're going to take me on... Oh, Haris then loses it. And Haris, it's a mistake that sees him spin out and down the standings. Gosh, from P1 down to P, what is he now? 12, 11, 12. Credit to Brody Steen, and I know we've seen him do relatively well in previous rounds, one particular race at Bathurst, but he's not able to hold on there as Tasbi, contact between Brody Steen and Muhammad Tasbi, but Tasbi flexes Singaporean muscles against the Aussie beast. So there is Naquib, he's at the back of that train, he's got the double slipstream. Brody Steen, having lost one place, will really try to dig in. He's a doughty competitor, but he's up against genuine quality. The switchback tried by Naquib Azlan. Is he able to hold on the inside? Brody Steen tries to force him out the way, but Naquib with a fantastic overtaking maneuver. Wow, a different line there. Look at Naquib Azlan. Naquib is chasing around the outside of Tasby. Contact again. Tasby defends. Switchback effort from Naquib. It is the final lap. Sprint ammo.
Yep, they just crossed it just in time. It was 149. A normal lap around here is about 147. In fact, look at that, 151 was the fastest lap that Tasby could set. So definitely this is the final lap, and Nabil is going to win it. Naquib will possibly be second.
Well, let's just stick with Naquib for now. Nabil Azlan as Muhammad Tasby and Naquib battle away. So Nabil will take the victory. Nabil Azlan, but who has got P2? They are neck and neck, wheel to wheel, and it is gonna be Tasby. 3/10 ahead of Naquib. Brody Steen holding off Josh Purwien. Really good competitive racing. Here is how the championship stands at the moment. Naquib Azlan leading from Nabil Azlan. It's the brothers from Malaysia. 82 points over 61 points. Muhammad Tasby in P3. Behind them we've got Philippines, Inigo Anton, Australia's Josh Purwien as the driver standing shows. And then Russell Reyes, who picked up no points. He was a no-show last week. He will hope to get into the points again. The Australian connection continues with Brody Steen. Luis Moreno out of the Philippines, and there's an Italian connection as well, Alessandro Ottaviani, who we know is capable of winning races. He's joined by another Italian today, Dino Bototto, to take competition through. Into the Nations Cup, Malaysia leading the Competitions Cup. Italy down in P8, always worth a mention. Sri Lanka in 7th, Japan and New Zealand. We go around the world, but Malaysia and Philippines are leading the way. And in the team standing, Stratos Motorsports, the team to beat. That is the Naquib team, 310 points. Head of Blue Steel Racing out of Malaysia, Sim Racing Filipinas, and then the Academy and FSA Racing. So they're just some of the names and the team names to look out for. There's practice ongoing at the moment. There's 5 minutes left or so. Quick thoughts. You've expanded the reach. You've invited more European racers to come, and Dino Patocco has joined Ottaviani. What are you expecting out of the European connection, Alex?
Yeah, so occasionally we invite some more Europeans to come in and race with us. Not too many. We can't have a full grid of them because of the latency. It affects the cars. Sometimes they teleport around a bit. So we've got a couple of them joining us today. It's just nice, especially Ottaviani. He's a top racer in R Factor 2 as well as Race Room. So it's great to have him on board. It adds to the competition. It's going to be fun to see how they do.
Okay, right. We're at Watkins Glen for round 3 of 6. This is Watkins Glen. It's just under 5.5 kilometres, 11 corners clockwise. There's a little chicane just at the top, which is a little bit naughty before you go into that corner. The first part of this track, Alex, looks very sweeping and opportunities to overtake. The second part, very intricate.
Yeah, that's right. It is a hard track to overtake. But that long blast up to the inner loop from turn 1 through turns 2, 3, and 4 up to turn 5, that's where there'll be a lot of slipstreaming. So I do expect to see some overtaking today. Okay,
let's have a flying lap around Watkins Glen. We're on board with Ayman Hakim Tadashi. Not in the usual cars that they're driving today. It's in a DTM, but it gives us just a glimpse of Watkins Glen.
Without further ado, here we go. Coming up to the last 2 corners on the track. And you can see here, you want to bring as much speed as possible down to the long straight here. Crucial to start a lap here, get as close to possible to the wall. And you want to start a lap here as far left as possible to get a good exit into turn 1. Braking before the board. Third gear, get a good exit over there. Get wide as possible, but not too wide. This is not IndyCar or NASCAR. This ERGP, you're gonna get penalty or incident point. And coming up to the uphill section here, flat out 6th gear, and this is where section where French Formula 1 driver Francis Silva passed away. Rest in peace. This is the long straight. You can plan your overtake is all over here. Down to the right, to the left, again to the left, and to the right again. Down to the parabolica, right parabolica section here. Very tricky to get it right here. As we come in now to the unique section, what we call as the boots. If you look at the map and the track, it looks shaped like a boot, so this is what we're going to call it. That's the toe. And coming up to the uphill section here, third gear, get a very late apex as possible. Get your throttle down right early. And this is also ahead of us is the hill, which is also the hardest braking point. Aside from turn 1, here we go. Third gear. Oh, a little bit of bad exit over there. Do want that in the race. Third gear to a hairpin section here right now. So you come in third gear, fourth gear, down into the last 2 sections again. You want some out throttle a little bit. Don't go too wide, you will invalidate your lip. It's again coming here to the last section here, close to the Monster Energy board. That's your reference, and I like Monster Energy, so I put it as well. And there you go, a lap of me in Watkins Glen.
Flying lap there from Ayman Akim Tadachi, as we call him. That's in the DTM, but you've mixed things up with the vehicles, haven't you? In glorious fashion, as must be said. We're looking at the old style cars.
Yeah, I mean, this Global Edition 6 was all about being a bit historic. You can see that, look how rudimentary that steering wheel is. You know, in those days, maybe you might have a radio button on the steering wheel, but that's it. Nowadays, even the DTM cars that we saw in Iman, you got so many buttons on the wheel, it's so intricate. Very much more agricultural in these sort of cars. You really have to bully them around to be quick as well. So it's been quite fun watching the drivers react. Some of the drivers can't quite get their heads around these cars because it requires a different driving style. You know, it's not so much about being smooth, but about, like I said, bullying the car through the corners. You know, because the weight balance is not so good. It's not as light and as stiff as a modern car with their more advanced suspension systems. So it is quite tricky to drive these cars. And some drivers have taken it to it like a duck to water, and some not so much.
One of those who we're really looking forward to is the Italian Ottaviani.
Yeah.
We have seen him at the front of races in a previous season, and he has raced so far this year, but he hasn't. I must confess, when he came in, I thought he would blow the Southeast Asian and the Asian racers away. He's not.
No.
In fact, he's training a little bit and has to do a lot of work.
Yeah, it's because some of our drivers like Naquib, Alif, our previous champion, and Dylan, who's also won a championship with us. They're on a world class level now, you know. So the foreigners from outside Asia Pacific, they can come here and do really well, but they don't have it all their own way. However, having said that, Ottaviani for me is a bit of a favourite today. He couldn't get into round 2 because a game crashed just before the server opened, so he couldn't actually get in. But he was looking really quick on the leaderboards, so he's going to be a factor today, and I actually think he's going to be my pick to win this weekend, or today, shall we say, not a weekend. Another guy who should also be a favourite would be Josh Purwien from Australia. He'll be strong because he always goes well at Watkins Glen.
Okay, we are on board with Alessandro Ottaviani. I can't call him foreigners because he's from my neck of the woods. I'm a visitor from the centre, but Ottaviani starts his flying lap around Watkins Glen, and probably worth sticking with, Alex, just to see if your favourites tag is good. Do you want to describe his first lap?
Okay, let's see. Right on board with him. There he is on the inset as well. A little bit of a wiggle on the exit will cost him a bit of time. Let's see if he's flat through turns 2, 3 and 4. Wow, using the grass and a bit more. I think he was flat through there, but you see how much grass they had to use to make it flat through there. Full throttle when I say flat. It comes to the end of sector 1 now. See, you're all purple through sector 1. Look how much curb he's carrying through there. But yes, the car is teleporting a bit. There is a bit of latency issues with Ottaviani's car. He is from Italy and the server is here in Singapore. So a few latency issues. But when we ride on board, the car looks fine. Through the left-hander now. Looks good actually through there. Looks very good indeed actually. So looking quick. Now we're into the heel section of the track. Goes through the toe section, turn 7. Oh, sideways. That's going to cost him a lot of time. You can see he's not happy there. He did not look happy there at all. He will have another chance to do a second lap, but that's going to cost him quite a bit of time. Through turn 8 now. Oh, he's fighting the car so much. And then turn 9 through here. Nice and patient. Oh, this is good. He does turn 9 very nicely, though that you won't want. Oh, that wiggle's going to cost him time. 2 more corners to go. He knows this is a scrappy lap.
He's still fastest, though.
He is. He's purple through sector 2 as well, but I got a feeling there might be some other quick guys out there. Through the last corner, and you're right, someone's gone faster. Inigo Anton's gone quickest of all with Josh Purwien in second. Where does Ottaviani go?
Somebody has gone significantly faster, and we are on board here with Inigo Anton, I believe. Inigo... He's just put in a 1:32.346 And Jyn Mazvilton, Muhammad Tasbi, the Singaporean connection, they are saying, Italians, you come to our neck of the woods, you play by our rules. It may be an American circuit, but this is our server.
Yeah.
This is our territory.
So Ottaviani won't be happy. He's P8 right now, and of course it was a very scrappy lap, but he will have a chance to go quicker. So, but Inigo Anton, he has had pole position in the RGP before. Could this be another one for him? Let's watch him through the inner loop. Oh, so aggressive over those curves, but you have to be aggressive. Sparks flying.
Comes around the...
But he's not going quicker though, Des. Let's see if we can see... Oh!
Naquib, fastest. Naquib Azlan. Well, I'll tell you what, he has been in scintillating form, Naquib Azlan. 2 first places and a second for the defending champion and 3-time runner-up. A 131.8. He's the only racer inside 132, Alex Young.
Wow, and don't forget he's carrying 15 kilos ballast. There is success ballast for the top 10 in the championship, and because he's leading the championship. But look how he's driving. Look how much smoother he is. Watch Ottaviani just now. How... No, let's just stick on board with him. I want to stick on board with him to turns 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, he's flat through there. He's a very smooth driver, is Naquib. And I say you have to muscle these cars around, and you do have to a certain extent. But it's also about being smooth, and that's when Naquib excels. Wow, he looks so good through there. Purple in sector 1 again. So this lap looks really good, but you can just see how much smoother he is with the wheel. And it's something I often point out to up-and-coming drivers. Come watch these drivers, and I use Naquib quite often because he's so smooth, doesn't get the car out of shape, and that is why he's so quick. So this looks like it could even be an improvement on his pole times. Wow, it's going to be hard for anyone to get close to him.
131.8 is the time to beat. Sector 1, he was 4,000th faster. Sector 2, that split time is coming up very, very shortly.
Josh Purwien's moved into P2 as well, Des.
Purwien needs a good round. Purwien, who did so well in round 1 and a disappointing round 2. He needs a good round to get back being competitive to take this away from Southeast Asia. 2/10 faster, Naquib Azlan. You called it, Alex. Naquib Azlan alongside Josh Purwien. Anton and Mazvilton on the second row. Tasbi, Russell Reyes back in form. Although Russell Reyes has been knocked off P6 by Nabil Azlan. Reyes in 7 with Nurshaz Lizan. Ottaviani down in 10. And Dino Patocco down in P17.
Wow. So the Italian connection not having a good day. Inigo Anton goes back up to P2 though. So, but half a second off Naquib. That is such a dominant qualifying performance by Naquib Azlan.
So, Naquib 5 points, Inigo Anton 4, Josh Purwien, he'll be happy-ish, if he can be, with P3 and a place on the second row of the grid. He needs a good performance, Josh Purwien. He's another who has regularly been a competitor up at the top end of the championship.
Yeah, so... Wow, I did not expect that. I expected Josh and Inigo to be up there. I expected Ottaviani to be up there. But I did not expect Naquib to be on pole by half a second. I would not have called that at the beginning of the day.
Round 3 of eRacing GP Global Edition. Watkins Glen is the venue. Amo Hazik will be joining us for commentary for the main race. Alex will be back at the end of race number 1 for a bit of analysis. They're in the garage at the moment, but Naquib Azlan, in imperious form, has got himself on pole position once again. He is the man to beat. Amo, your thoughts after qualification and ahead of this first race?
I'm quite surprised that Ottaviani is a bit off the boilers in that practice session, but it's only qualifying. The race is a different story altogether, and I'm expecting a really good fight from the drivers in between that midfield.
Josh Purwien in P3, Jyn Mazvilton again quick in P4, and Muhammad Tasbi. We never seem to mention Muhammad Tasbi as a genuine contender, and Tasbi drops down behind Nabil Azlan. The lead though at the front as Naquib is overtaken by Inigo Anton, and the Filipinos got off to a terrific start, as has Josh Purwien, and then Purwien crashes out.
Then is that really him crashing, or is that actually, no, it is. Purwien has been sent right to the back of the field, and I think bigger mayhem has ensued in the back because we lost a bit half the field there. But a brilliant start from Inigo Anton. That's the start we don't want. He got the whole shot. Now he can try to control the pace from the front ahead of Naquib.
Inigo Anton has taken on Naquib Azlan. We were saying that Josh Purwien really needed to get off to a good start. Was he overly aggressive there, Amo?
No, I don't think so. I think it was just about fair, but it was unfortunately unfair for Josh Purwien being centered like that. Now he's talking to the team there. He's smiling right now. Probably he can try to get a few positions back, but unfortunately for him, he's got a lot of work to do.
Well, yeah, it's a forced smile, I suspect. Up at the front, Alessandro Ottaviani has got himself into P3. He's overtaken Jyn Mazvilton and Russell Reyes. And you were mentioning that Ottaviani hadn't had a good qualification, Amo, but my word, he's made up for that with a flying first lap.
I'm glad he's proving my particular statement right here. Yeah, they did say that qualifying is one thing, but the race is another. And what a start. 7 positions up from 10th place, running up on the podium positions. Now he can set his sights on Naquib Azlan and Inigo Anton for the win here. This is going to be a very good battle for the next 13.5 minutes.
So yeah, we are just at the end of the first lap. It is Inigo Anton from the Philippines who leads. Anton, 4th place in the championship standings. Had a 2nd place in round 1. Hasn't had a win so far this season, but he does know how to win. But if he wins in this class of field, Amos, he slides onto the green stuff. He's going to have to be as aggressive as he just showed.
Yes, absolutely. The dogged determination that we can know Anton has alongside Naquib. It's like for like, to be honest. They both can be aggressive when needed to, but they both can be so fast when they're up in front. Now it's going to be interesting to see how they will fare battling each other for first and second here.
So Naquib Azlan, sorry about that for the director. Naquib Azlan currently in P2, a 2.5 clear of Ottaviani. A little bit further down, let's just see how Josh Purwien is doing. He slipped off the track and he's having a battle there with a couple of similar cars, Jyn Mazvilton and Paul Faustino. But this is down in P16 for Purwien. He was battling for 2 and then just slid off. We'll continually catch up with him to see how he's doing. Up at the front, Inigo Anton. Do you think Anton is able in this quality of field, Ammo, to hold on?
I believe so, because he has had good performances, especially in the E1 Championship, where he was going toe-to-toe with some really good drivers as well. I believe so. He can actually hold on to it, but he's going to have to do an awful lot to keep the guy like Naquib Azlan behind. And especially just only about a second behind than Naquib is Ottaviani. That's a really tough crowd to actually defend.
And Watkins Glen, your thoughts on this circuit with these vehicles? Because you've got lots of pace, but there's then the intricacy in the second half of the course.
To be fair, right, we can't really see it that far because see it that well because we don't have the other cars from the group's era to compare. But I think the Nissan just has the legs on the Porsche on this one, even though the Porsche is actually good around the corners slightly. But in default setup, you just can't catch up to it. The Nissan is all around the better car around here, and that's why you can see by the field here, only one Porsche, and that's Ayman Hakim.
Ayman Hakim in the Porsche. He gave us a flying lap, and Ayman Hakim, he's in a battle there here with Nabil Azlan. Nabil in P5, Nabil in P6, Ayman Hakim in P7. We're on board with Nabil, he's in the pink. Now then, Nabil is 2nd in the championship standing, 26 points behind his brother. But Nabil had a terrific round 2 in Brno, a P2 and a P1.
Yeah, in fact, 21 points as it currently stands at the moment. But not a good race, first race at least. He might be starting in front of his brother wherever they finish right now. He just needs to get a buck up here if he wants to actually be close to him as we come to the squeaky bum time of the season, shall we say.
Indeed, we are just over halfway. Alessandro Ottaviani running in P3. I'm noticing that he is on medium compound tyres. The only one of the top racers to actually take that. Is it a gamble?
Yes, it is a gamble. And we didn't see like what I keep remember he was on soft tires in the first race last time in Brno. That didn't work out. He had to do a pit stop. Maybe medium tires can actually be a good thing for Ottaviani here if he wants to get up to the rear of Naquib and Inigo. But it could also be a gamble if the tires actually wear out faster than he anticipated. Then he'll have to make a stop. That gamble might not look so smart to this. But for the time being anyway, he's looking good right now. In fact, last time out, he was only just a 10th off from Naquib Azlan. So that time's looking good here. They're almost on even pace. But Ottaviani has to really pick up the pace here if he wants to challenge for the win.
Indeed, Ottaviani's last lap of 1:35.04. Big battle going on in P6 at the moment. Naquib Azlan on the tail of Mohammed Tasbi. Tasbi in the yellow, Nabil in the pink. Nabil just trying to squeeze down the inside of the Singaporean. But Tasbi, as so often we've said in the past, Amo, he's a very, very capable driver himself.
Absolutely. Takes shades of his brother even, to be honest. But just doesn't have quite the luck and the pace that Alif had. But nonetheless, he's still proven to be a very capable guy. And right now, at least, 5th place, defending in front of yet another guy who is pretty much shadowed by his sibling somewhat. But he's also proven to be a good driver. So this is a like-for-like match here for 5th place.
5th place in this race, 3rd place in the overall championship standings for the Team Flash Racer. But he'll be very aware of Nabil behind him. Russell Reyes, who had a terrific round 1, he's there in P4. He's not let Ottaviani get away from him, and Reyes, having 0 points in round 2, needs a good performance in round 3, Amo.
Yeah, because I think he was absent last time out, so he can drop that round completely. He's going to have to look forward to the rest of the season not dropping any points to stand any chance of actually competing for the title. And I've said it before, he is also quite capable driver himself. Very fast in other games, for example, like Santa Clausa Competizione. Really fast in that game, by the way. And he's proven to be quite well here in race room using in the RGP. Now, battling against one of the best in the business, Ottaviani then, might be looking in his mirrors as the medium tyres start to wear out slightly compared to the hards.
Indeed, let's just look in the reverse mirror there of Ottaviani. You can see Russell Reyes, and the Filipino has really caught the attention so far this year after being under the radar for a little while. I just need to mention Mohamed Zini had problems. He is out of the race. One of the Italians, Dino Botocco, he is out of the race, but I'm not sure what's happened there. Look, that looks just like a crash. And Australia's Brodie Steen joins Mohamed Zini in the pits, but Botocco, that just looks like he's smashed into the barrier. So he is out of the race. Up at the front, Inigo Anton Amo Hazik is still leading.
Yep, and I did say that he just needs to work extra hard to keep Naquib behind. 9/10 of a second, in fact, it's almost a second now. At one point, it was about 4 or 5 tenths. That's how close that Naquib got at one point. It was a mistake by Inigo, but nonetheless, he's recovered quite well and still ahead. But the job's not done yet. We're only halfway through. He does another half of the race to go.
So, Inigo, yeah, indeed, we are just over the halfway. He now comes through onto his 6th lap. You can see Ottaviani in P3 in the dark blue and the grey of Reyes, and Tasbi in the yellow, and Naquib Azlan behind them. Down in P7, Ayman Hakim Tadashi, not really been able to find the form that we know for Tadashi, and he's under pressure here from Ayman Hazik.
Yeah, teammates here, Blue Steel Racing. And notice that Ayman Hakim also runs a different team, it's Balas Esport. That's because he's also teammates. Of course, I'm teammates with Dino Botocco as well. We have an Italian team over in Europe, so sad to see that one of our teammates is out, but the other one's running. And also, incidentally, we're teammates with this guy that we're with Ayman Hazik. So basically running with 2 teams. Ayman's part of the Balas setup, but they're not. No love lost here. They're trying to go at it, hammer and tongs. Ayman defends on the inside. Oh, Ayman Hazik goes onto the grass. Ayman Hakim manages to jump the curb and stays in 7th.
It's the black stuff you're meant to hit normally, isn't it? Thought keep on the black stuff and you'll be safe, but anything but black stuff for both Ayman and Tadashi right there. Let's have a look back up to the top. Inigo Anton still in the lead and driving, Amo, it must be said, very smoothly.
And it's opposite to what Ayman Hazik suffered. That's not the rubber to green that we wanted. Of course, that's the grass. And Inigo Anton's getting rubber to green here up at the front. For a change, he's actually leading the race, and now looking on course to get, I think, his 2nd win in the GP. But he's going to have to really work hard for it, because look at that. Naquib sliding his way out of turn 9 into turn 10. Ottaviani does the same thing. We can see that as Naquib then really trying to gun for the win. He wants to maintain that almost perfect record in this championship season.
Yeah, Naquib is the championship leader by some 26 points. Inigo Anton, 4th place at the moment. He's accumulated 48 points, plus 4 points for the 2nd fastest qualification today. So it's a good season no matter what for Inigo Anton, but good seasons tend not to be good enough against Naquib Azlan, because this guy is seriously talented.
We can say that again. That shows the quality that he's got. Ever since he managed to break the duck at last season, he's just been on it. He really wants to get 2 championships in a row here. And through that lift, yep, you're not the only one who can win consecutive championships. And he goes onto the inside. Anton makes a mistake on the curb there. They go side by side, coming to the chute. And Naquib takes the lead. Inigo made a slight mistake there. He pounced on it.
All it needed was the slightest error from Inigo Anton, and therein lies the difference you suspect between the two. Inigo, you suspect, may well be susceptible to that kind of small error, and Naquib, as you saw, was on it in a flash.
Wow, he was on him like a rash, that's for sure. It was just that one mistake. In fact, a second mistake in a row in that same corner. Inigo got away with it the first time. He didn't get away with it the second time. He didn't have much of a gap to get away with it. Now he has to fight back. We're on board with Inigo again. This is where he's going to have the mental strength. He needs that mental strength to fight back against the current champion. And wow, that's quite a tall order, to be honest. Naquib, we know, rarely drops a position from the lead. Inigo know that full well, and he'll try to force a mistake from him no matter what. Oh, a slight hit the wall there.
Inside 4 minutes there, Inigo Anton has just got to get his breath back, because we will have definitely 2 laps and possibly 3 still to go. Probably 3 still to go. Definitely 3 still to go.
Yep.
Further down, Muhammad Nabil has gone into the pits.
And he's missing a front portion of his bodywork there, so he might have had a massive whack with Nabil, actually. Might have been Nabil hitting him, or he might have gone into the wall, but whatever it is. Nabil's going on. Nabil has come to the pits, and that puts paid to any good point scoring positions in his first race. He's still got a second race to go, mind you, so anything to play for him, but he'll be having a lot of work to do with the second race.
Problem for Nabil was in P3 in the championship standings. Naquib racing away at the moment. Gosh, we are used to very competitive championships in the eRGP. Naquib Azlan is making a mockery of that at the moment. Ottaviani is still holding on to P3, or is he? Ottaviani! Oh, was Reyes made a move, and then Reyes spins out, and Reyes loses a place to Nabil Azlan, who moves into P4. I just caught the scorecard, and Reyes was making a little bit of a move, but too little too late, and he caught the end of Ottaviani.
More often than not, Reyes will always be the one to make the moves, and someone will end up getting the worst outcome of it. But this time is the opposite. So Reyes then probably had the move to stick, but he just went a bit wide, or maybe he got a bit of a tap from Ottaviani. Who knows? He caught the end of it. He just spun around and somehow, miraculously, still in the top 5. He's that far ahead of Ayman Hazik to actually be worried. In fact, incidentally, Ayman Hazik also has overtaken Ayman Hakim.
Yeah, Ayman Hazik, you can see right behind there, the blue and the red cars. Ayman Hazik just leading the way. That's a very Malaysian battle there. Ayman Hazik in the blue, Ayman Hakim Tadashi, who gave us the benefit of the lap beforehand. But he's down in P8, and another Malaysian, Haris Zefri Ray, is in P9. Son Idu in P10. Josh Purwien, who we saw making an attempt to get into the front. Josh Purwien is the latest casualty. It is a war of attrition at Watkins Glen.
Oh, amazing. And the fact that normally Watkins Glen, it is not that huge on retirements, because if you see some of the endurance races, they take it so carefully around these corners, and you don't get that much retirements. But here we're seeing a lot of drivers coming to the pits, presumably for damage. In this case for Josh, tires and damage.
5 of 18 retired. Naquib Azlan, he still leads. 1 minute to go. They will complete this lap. Where are they on this? Yeah, they'll complete this lap and have 1 to go.
Yep, last lap after this.
Yeah, last lap after this. Naquib leads. Naquib won in round 1 at Salzburg. Won in round 2 in Brno. Is leading race 1 here at Watkins Glen to try to give him an unassailable lead coming into the final lap. Inigo.
Oh.
That was an interesting move from Inigo Anton.
I think he just got a bit squirrely on the curve there and really lost it. That would have been a heartbreaking moment for him after working so hard to be in this position, only to lose it on the very final lap. So luckily then for Inigo, he held on to second, but at the expense of, he's lost almost a second to Naquib. There's no way he can make it up for it now unless Naquib makes a massive mistake, which is rare, to be honest. So Inigo has to settle for second here. He just needs to pressure Naquib for the rest of the lap.
The consolation for Inigo is that he has a 5-second lead over Alessandro Ottaviani, who will pick up a podium, which will be his first podium position this season. He picked up a 10 points for P6 in round 1. He did get a podium in season 5, if I recall. And Naquib Azlan is going to carry on his fine form. Naquib Azlan looks like he's going to pick up 13 points for P3. But Inigo Anton, he's going to make a move in the championship standings with this P2.
Indeed, and the fact that with Tasbih's retirement now, he can move up to P3 at least. Nabil is still going to be P2, while the head of the championship, Naquib, is going to increase his points even further, with Nabil only managing 4th right now.
Now, Nabil, is he good enough, do you reckon, to get past Ottaviani? Because he has closed up very, very closely. He was in 0.1 of a second very, very short while ago.
Nope, not close enough. Unless Ottaviani makes a mistake in the final 2 corners, it's not going to be enough. It's going to be 4 for him, as Naquib, I think, is going to cross the line.
Naquib Azlan takes the victory ahead of Inigo Anton. Ottaviani holds off Nabil for P3. Russell Reyes comes through in a decent P5 ahead of Ayman Hazik. Ayman Hakim Tadashi. But it's a cool, calm, calculating victory from Naquib Azlan. And I think Alex Young is going to talk to him. Good commentary, Ammo. We'll catch you for race 2.
Okay, Naquib. Wow, what a race that was. To talk us through your race. Were you ever panicking when you were behind Inigo?
Yeah, I think it was really tense out there. Inigo got a good start, compromised my exit out of turn 1, and then I knew it was going to be difficult. Yeah, the tire wear is so freaking high. With my balance, it's so difficult, but I knew I just stayed patient. I had some suspension damage after clipping the wall at the final corner, so that was another difficulty, but yeah, overall I found an invitation that was given by Inigo and decided to go for it.
Fantastic result. Well done. Good luck for race 2. You will start P14 because it's a reverse grid of 14 cars.
Alright, thank you.
Confirmation of the standings. Naquib Azlan takes the victory. Josh Purwien, a consolation for him of P13, but also the fastest lap. He really went for it in the early stages. Josh Purwien spun out after a contretemps with Naquib. Inigo Anton, a very good P2 for the Philippine GT Radial Eurasia Motorsport racer. Ottaviani, first podium of the season ahead of Nabil. Reyes and Hazik in 5 and 6. Tadashi in 7 ahead of Son Idu. Well done for the Oz New Zealand sim racing racer. Jyn Mazvilton and Haris Zefi completing the top 10. Hamdani in gold into the top 12. That's a good result for him, but this is all about Naquib Azlan.
So that was really interesting. I was watching that race, and I have to say, where Naquib was much better than Inigo was at the loop. The inner loop, this fast chicane after the back straight, there are a few ways of taking it. And most people were hitting that first apex and going wide for the double left, so carrying more speed, but of course you end up going wide. Naquib was keeping it narrower and really hugging the double left, so going a shorter distance and also able to get on the throttle a lot earlier. So every lap he was catching Inigo a lot, and the other drivers weren't doing that as well, from what I could see. So Naquib has that small advantage in the inner loop on his driving line, and let's see if anyone can pick it up for race 2.
Well, race 2 is a reverse grid race, as you said. Naquib is down in P14, which means up at the top of the grid, Josh Purwien. So Josh, he's always fun.
Yeah, good fun to watch.
But Josh Purwien will have the bit between his teeth here. The red lights up at the top. Faustino is on pole. Purwien is alongside him. 2 grey coloured cars. Purwien, you look at his eyes. There's a steely determination. And they are underway. Ammo Hazik alongside us. Behind them, Carnage Ammo.
Oh, and who is that wiped the barriers? It's Harris again. Oh my word. How many races has he done? His walk started spun into the wall. That's the second time in 2 races. The last time I was in Brno. But anyhow, Purwien gets the start of Dreams. Mazvilton tucks in second. And the rest of the field now, the ones that survived that start finish line kerfuffle, are streaming through the S's.
Nurshaz Lizan is the man who's in P3. Nabil in P4. Tadashi 5. Inigo Anton. He's made a really good start. He's got himself up into P6, having started on P13. Tasby gets a slow down penalty. Not a great day at the office for Muhammad Tasby. Zini also struggling. He's down in P15. And poor old Haris Zefi. You're quite right to actually show it. And there's the damage on Haris Zefi's car as well. That's going to be difficult for him to control, Ammo.
Indeed, there's no aerodynamic control at the front. As you can see, he's wearing a mask. That's pretty much what's covering his face, but there's nothing covering the front of his car. It's actually bare right now.
Josh Purwien leading the way. In race 1, Ammo, you didn't seem to worry too much about Josh Purwien's first corner coming together. You kind of exonerated him from any blame.
Because I think that he actually had every right to, because it's only the first lap and he wanted to make out many positions as possible. He probably thought that there was a gap there, closed on him, and he spun. Now that he's actually out of the way, that first race, he's on in front. He can try to win here again after winning also in Global Edition 5.
Indeed, and we saw with Purwien, he took the fastest lap, so he can certainly drive this circuit at Watkins Glen. He knows his way around, and there he is, just using the full tarmac available and snugs it nice and in. He's got a 1 second lead over Jyn Mazvilton, a 2.5 second lead over Nurshaz Lizam. It's going to take a mistake from Josh for him to lose out. Even with 13 minutes ago, I think I can say that with some confidence.
Indeed, but now that this is race 2, race 1's already in the history books, he just wants to make amends for that and gain as many points as possible as he can. In fact, in the championship at least, with that first round, well, almost damn squib, shall we say, he can still stay in the top 5, but he's looking off. He looks like he's going to be under pressure from Reyes here for that 5th position in the championship.
We're on board with Naquib Azlan, who's leading a 4-way battle for P4. You've got Purwien, Mazvilton and Shazlizan ahead of them. Nabil in the pink, right on the tail of Nurshaz Lizam. Inigo Anton and Naquib Azlan in that battle as well. Naquib is the red, just coming through your shot. Oh, missing your shot. He's at the tail end. He's just overtaken Ayman Hakim Tadashi. And Alessandro Ottaviani is at the back of that group in P8. Has he underwhelmed you just a little bit today, Ammo?
Ooh, someone's smiling in the background further behind. Not sure who's that, but back to Ottaviani. To say underwhelming, maybe slightly, but I think probably because he's still a bit groggy right now because it is quite early over in Italy. So maybe he's not up to his peak form, but nonetheless, 4th place in that first race is not a bad return for a guy who's actually having to wake up this early.
I tell you what, UA racers think 10 o'clock in the morning's early, huh?
Well, yes, despite the fact sometimes we race late at night, but I think I'll give that excuse for Ottaviani. Probably he's not on form right now, that's why. I wouldn't say underwhelming, but it's just that he would be saying by himself he should be performing better.
Brotherly love there from Ammo to Ottaviani. Ottaviani currently in P8 in your shop. Josh Purwien, meantime, Ammo, has taken a 1.3 second lead and is flying around this circuit. He's just posted a 1:34.4, which I think is the fastest lap of the race so far.
Looking at the fastest lap times, yes, he's about 4 tenths faster than Mazvilton, his fastest lap, and last time out, it was 4 tenths. In fact, that is when they said the fastest lap. So, right now, at least 4 tenths faster than Mazvilton. He's pulling up a bit of a comfortable gap right now. Meanwhile, behind.
Look at this scrap going on here. Nurshaz Lizan, Nabil, Inigo, and Naquib. There's Shazlizan in the yellow. The double pink of Nabil and Inigo Anton with Naquib just lurking on the corner. Alex Young was very complimentary to the way that Naquib was taking this as Nurshaz Lizan makes a mistake and Naquib Azlan goes into P3.
Yep, that was a slight mistake on the throttle there. He wanted to get on the power early, but too much power on the rear end, and the V8 just tosses you out. And now Nabil has a clear run to P3. Naquib has to work on the back of Inigo Anton again. These two seem to be inseparable this round.
There is Naquib. He's got Anton just on the inside. Has he got the acceleration to get the better of Inigo? The answer is yes. Naquib squeezes through Inigo Anton. Inigo will have Naquib in his nightmares as he tries to come through on the inside once again. What does Inigo Anton have to do to get the better of Naquib Azlan?
I would say a lot. And the fact that, speaking of nightmares, Anton then trying to go through on the inside the S's. Now I remember last time out, in fact last season, he tried that same move on the final lap against Mika Hakimi, and that failed spectacularly. He thought better of it and thought, yep, tried to find another way around. It's still quite a long way to go. In fact, we have 9.5 minutes left to go in this race, so Anton can still fight this time. There's still plenty that can happen. And right now, at least, well, what's happened there? It looks like there's a back marker in between all of them, so that's still going to be somebody who can stabilize everything.
Is that Harris Zeffi? You've called that exactly right. So Harris playing the spoiler. He's just got out the way, got to get out the way, Harris Zeffi, and he does so exactly that as he is lapped because he had that spin. He was very, very high on the grid, Harris, but he's always worth a highlight reel for the first 10 seconds of any race.
Yeah, because race 2 at Salzburg Ring, he was on pole, then he got knocked out into the barriers. Race 2 at Brno, he was leading, then he dropped it. And now race 2 here at Watkins Glen, he's done the same thing, except the fact that he got tossed out even earlier. So unfortunate for him that he's having race 2 curses, I would say.
Josh Purwien, meantime, up at the front, goes into lap 4. Lap 5, sorry, with a 1.6 second lead. Naquib Azlan a further 2.5 seconds down. This is an imperious performance from Josh Purwien, and we know that he can produce these kind of performances, Amo. It's all about consistency, I suspect, for Josh.
All I can say to that is, he's just like his team name there, because that's actually a joke name. He does race for multiple teams, but this one is just a play on Malay word for sighing. He might sigh at what happened in that first race, but this one, he might be breathing more of a sigh of relief that he managed to pull away from the rest, getting a whole shot. And now, all he needs to just bring it home. And I think from here on out, Josh will probably make that many mistakes, unless I'll be proven wrong.
Naquib Azlan, meantime, in P5. Inigo Anton trying to prove your prediction spot on. Inigo is really battling back on Naquib, and they have got to get the better of Nurshaz Lizan. Naquib looks on the inside. Nurshaz Lizan forced a little bit wide, and Naquib and Inigo both go through on the inside. So Naquib takes P4. Inigo hasn't quite been able to squeeze Nurshaz Lizan out. Maybe he will this time. Nurshaz Lizan tries defends. Great stuff from Inigo Anton into P5. Just follows Naquib.
And I'm surprised that Shaz Lizan didn't actually defend it, Des, because he could have actually defended harder against Naquib, but Naquib just managed to pry the door open and also let Anton follow suit. So now they're going to have to chase up to Naquib, who's about 2.5 seconds ahead if they want to be on the podium. This is great stuff from the guys who were first and second in that first race.
Certainly is. Josh Purwien leads the way still. Jyn Mazvilton. Again, we've got casualties. Zini is out. He's had problems all day. But Toko is also missing, as is Brody Steen. Connectivity problems, collateral damage for eRGP. But Josh Purwien, he is making sure that there's no damage to him. He is getting as far ahead as he possibly can. 2.5 seconds now the lead over Mazvilton.
And that last time out, although it was invalid, I think it was more than 4 tenths faster than Mazvilton. Josh here, he's got a point to prove. He wants to win at Watkins Glen again, and he did so last time out, albeit it was in race 1 in the DTM cars, but he's certainly proving everyone wrong here that he cannot drive Group C cars. He's driving it absolutely well here in race 2 at Watkins Glen.
Absolutely well, absolutely magnificently. Down in P2, Jyn Mazvilton quietly, efficiently going on with things. Mazvilton has hardly picked up a point so far this season. Just 4 accumulated over the 4 races. He had a did not finish and a did not start last time out at Brno in the Czech Republic. So good to see Mazvilton coming back to form. He's another of the Singaporeans who sometimes goes under the radar.
Yeah, rather inconspicuous and a bit overshadowed by his more illustrious cousins, aka Alif Hamilton and Jyn Mazvilton and Tasbih. But nonetheless, he's proving himself to be a capable driver too. And now, after moving up from the silver class from last season, doing quite well in gold class.
Certainly is, certainly is. And he'll pick up good points today, barring catastrophe. Naquib Azlan, the junior Nabil, he is in P3 ahead of Naquib. Inigo Anton just being dropped a little bit. Behind them, Nurshaz Lizan under pressure from Ottaviani. Ottaviani tries just to slide on the inside. So Nurshaz Lizan was in P3 for a long time. Could be dropping to P7, Amo.
Dropping like a stone, Des. This guy, I don't know what happened to him. Maybe his tire wear, maybe a lack of confidence with the car, but whatever it is, he's losing pace rapidly, and now he's being targeted by Ottaviani. Ottaviani tries to go around the outside, coming in the loop. Nothing much do it. Now he's probably kind of tried to figure out a move as they come through the boot section. Oh, Ottaviani loses a bit of momentum there. Luckily, it was no collision. Looks like a bit of lag, but nonetheless, he's safe for now in P7.
Even if it was a bit of lag, he lost a lot of time there. In fact, he lost over a second, and he is slowing down, and Ayman Hakim is closing in on him at a rate of knots. It's a concerned look from the Italian, bottom right of your screen. Great to get the Europeans on board with us, but they've not had the best of fortune today. Ottaviani, a podium in race 1, but struggling here in P7 in race 2.
Indeed. And well, might be the time zone difference, might be the lack of sleep or whatever. He's not up to the usual high standard that he sets in other racing events, but nonetheless, a podium that first race and more points in the second is still a good return regardless.
Indeed, you're determined to allow him off with that sleep, aren't you? Hamdani, he is out of the race as well, so 4 casualties. Ayman Haziq's in a good little battle here with Paul Faustino. Haziq is ahead of Mohamed Tasbi. Russell Reyes has dropped down to P12, but Ayman Haziq tries just to go on the inside of Paul Faustino. Takes a completely different line, but the Filipino holds on. Faustino was on pole position at the start of this race. Maybe we expect him to hold on a little bit better than he has.
Yeah, but probably because he has not been used to driving up there. He's got the pace of a Golf driver that can keep up with the rest of them, but somehow in the races he just fails to put that form into good use. And now he's going to drop to P10 here if Ayman Haziq actually gets the better of him. He defends on the inside, coming through the inner loop. Again, that defensive inside line works out initially, but if you get a bit too narrow coming to that corner, you're going to be thrown out wide when you get into the curves. And luckily for Faustino, he manages to hold on to keep the car narrow, as Alex said in between the first and second races now, of how Naquib does it.
Okay, Ottaviani is about to make another move on Nurshaz Lizan. He was dropped off a little bit last time. Let's see if Ottaviani is able to just be a little bit more successful this time. Nurshaz Lizan is a silver class winner in the past, so he's a capable racer in his own right. Another out of Singapore who is dwarfed by the work of Alif Hamilton. But Ottaviani lagging issues as well to add to the sleep deprivation.
Well, I would presume sleep deprivation, but yeah, normally most of us would definitely sleep late anyway. Especially if we have late night races, so I can't blame Ottaviani for that. Especially he has to wake up early for an Asian time zone race. Doing quite well regardless, and right now he's hounding Shaz Lizan for 6.
We'll just stick with this for a moment. At the front, Josh Purwien's 2 seconds clear of Mazvilton. Nabil coming under increasing pressure from Naquib. So we'll go on to Naquib and Nabil in a short while. But let's see if Ottaviani in the next half lap or so can make any impression on Nurshaz Lizan and get himself a top 6 berth in race 2 here at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, and look at that. He's actually much more planted coming out with the S's there that time round. And again, he attacks Shaz Lizan on the inside. And again, whoa, I thought he was trying to switch back there. But, ooh, you can hear the impact of the car when they come over the barriers, and that's where the sparks come from. That's how low and highly strung these cars are. But somehow then, despite following another car, Ottaviani manages to keep it together. Oh, speaking of, I was about to say he was going to keep it together. He's lost it coming up into the chute, and he spins coming to turn 6. Ayman Naquib picks out the position. That was a lucky save there from Alessandro, and unfortunately, despite that save, he's dropped now to P9, and that car is looking rather squirrely. That's, I think, suspension damage. He's going to have to retire the car or fix it. Look at that. It's very squirrely. He's got suspension damage here. Looks terminal, and it is terminal.
I can also tell you that Inigo Anton has lost, well, he was, where are they? Somebody's dropped out. Oh no, Inigo was always P5, wasn't he? Naquib ahead of him in P4. Nabil in 3. Jyn Mazvilton 2. Josh Purwien in 1. Sorry, I apologise. I thought Inigo had made a mistake and lost ground. He hasn't. We are into the final lap, though. And there is the procession. We have Mazvilton, Nabil, Naquib and Inigo. 2, 3, 4 and 5. But Josh Purwien is leading this by a country mile. Nearly 2 seconds clear for Purwien. He has led since the very first corner. He was on the front row of the grid. And we know he can lead races. We know he is quick. He is about to pick up his his second race 2 victory of this season. So Purwien puts himself back into a top 3 championship contention place.
Yep, and also, just a sidetrack, breaking a bit of the grey car, because the guys who have been running this grey-coloured Nissan for the last few races have had torrid luck, especially with like the likes of Mazvilton with last time out where he was stuck on the grid. So first and second being grey Nissans is a nice change of pace here for those who have been used to seeing more colourful cars at the front of the grid.
Yeah, you've just reminded me of the Jyn Mazvilton problems in Brno in the Czech Republic, but looks like he's going to come through into P2. There he is just in the grey. Nabil, Naquib and Inigo Anton in a procession behind them. Let's just have a look to see if Inigo is able to get close. It's going to be difficult for him. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with Nurshaz Lizan 5 seconds adrift of them. But this looks like a procession for Josh Purwien. He has led from the start. He is going to come through and take his second victory of the season. Josh Purwien from Australia takes the victory by a second clear of Mazvilton. Naquib in 3, Nabil in 4, Inigo Anton finishes a very good 5th, Josh Azlan 6, Tadashi and Ayman Hazik. Again, 5 non-finishers, but Josh Purwien is the race winner. Great work, Ammo. Quick thoughts before the interview.
Yeah, it was a bit of a processional race. It was a bit like when Group C during its final years, where the cars were just a bit more tuned for sprint racing, but nonetheless, still a great race to watch, especially with a close top 5.
Okay, so that was a great result. We'll talk to Josh Purwien just after we have a look at the final results. There we go, final results, Des.
Confirmation, Josh Purwien takes it and gets the fastest lap. It's a 17-point second victory of the season for the Aussie. Mazvilton, his best result of the season, 12 points for P2. Nabil and Naquib, of course, accumulating points. And Inigo Anton, a very decent 5th place. Nurshaz Lizon, Tadashi, Hazik, Tazbe and Russell Reyes, the other point scorers. Only the top 10 pick up points. Ottaviani out of the points, as is Patoko, Brodestein and Mohamed Sini.
Okay, well, Josh, great win in race 2. Thanks very much, Ammo, for the commentary. But Josh, you want to take us through your day so far?
Alright, so wasn't really happy with qualifying, and then race 1, Naquib kind of just fenced me on lap 1. I'm not sure whether it was intentional or not, but then I heard later in the race as well, he overtook Inigo a bit unfairly as well, so maybe. And then race 2, of course, because of that dangerous driving, I started at the front and basically just pulled away. I had like 0% tires for the whole last lap, so that was fun trying to manage that. But yeah, overall another disappointing weekend.
So you think Naquib deserves a penalty for that? You're going to protest him then?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Because I was going side by side, and then he basically just turned in as if I wasn't there. So,
okay.
Like I was at least like a bit of my car in there. Like I don't know where else I had to go. So.
All right. So we'll have to watch out for that and see what the stewards have to say after that. But race 2 was much better then. You were happy with that, obviously, but not so good for the championship overall.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get as much fun winning race 2, so it's like finishing 3rd or 4th in race 1. So.
Okay. Anything, Des, for you?
No, I just love the bluntness. You're not happy with Naquib, and that's good to hear. So the protest will be going in. So do you think, though, you were being overly aggressive in that corner? Because I remember commenting that you're making a move in a difficult place.
Well, I mean, I don't really know where else to go. Like, I went to go to the inside of him, and he kind of just blocked me, like, at first. Like, when I moved right, he kind of moved right as well. So, I feel like I had part of my car there, so he should have given me space, I feel. But, yeah, here's what it is. All
right. Well, let the stewards decide.
It was indeed. You were the casualty, though. Congratulations for your second win of the season. A smile?
Thank you. Yes.
Good lad.
Thanks, Josh.
Josh Purwien, as always, says it as he sees it. And so I think the stewards may have some work to do there, Alex. And Naquib is not a saint after all.
No, he's not. I mean, to win, you have to push the boundaries. But what's very important is if he has gone over the boundaries, that we do penalise him. So, like you said, the stewards have to do a bit of work. But regardless, even if he does get a penalty for that, it's not going to help Josh, because Josh really had a bad result in that first race. But Naquib will still lead the championship, won't he? Brother Nabil, I think, will still be second, although Thaspi is going to drop out of the top 3, perhaps.
Yeah, there were one or two, a little bit of collateral damage today. A couple of racers went out. Ottaviani picking up a podium in race 1, but then crashing out in race number 2, so he won't be really doing it. But Jyn Mazvilton, best result of the season for the Singaporean.
Yeah, great result to see Jyn. Because, he qualified P3, I think, the last race, and then he got disconnected and got stuck on the line. So to see him get a second position, which is what he deserves. He's a quick driver. So good to see that.
Okay, but it is Naquib Azlan who leads as we go into round 4 of the season. We are over halfway of Global Edition Season 6. You are watching eRacing GP. Alex Young and Des Corkill will see you same time, same place next week.